Alright guys, I'm gonna talk about a topic that means a lot to me. I'm a regular anime convention attendee. I've been going for several years, and I've seen a lot of changes that happen to it, and I'm not happy with the changes. So I'm gonna go over what this guy has said regarding changes, and I'll critique him, and I also show some videos of other attendees that are disgruntled and are rightfully so unhappy about the changes that are happening to anime conventions. So let's dig into this.
My first anime convention in 2011. I continued attending conventions while filming my experience until the end of 2017, at which time I chose to go on an indefinite hiatus to follow my dream of traveling.
Fast forward to the first point.
Even broader question. How have anime conventions changed since I first started attending back in 2011? Glomping. Google defines glomping as a lunging, enthusiastic, over-the-top, and potentially dangerous hug that often begins with a running start, like a tackle. This is something anime characters do all the time, but in real life, it's absolutely horrifying. Now, normally, this was just between friends, but imagine minding your own business when suddenly some random person just comes out of nowhere and tackles you to the ground.
So what's the problem? Is the problem the act itself? Is the problem that people are doing it to others that they don't know? Or what? From the looks of it, it looks like people are having a blast doing it. And I don't know to the extent of who is doing it based on if they know the person or if it's a stranger. I don't know what the ratio is. But then again, I've never been going to conventions at that time. So I can't know for sure from my experiences.
They liked your cosplay. Things like this did actually happen at one point. Luckily, it's mostly died off at cons nowadays and was already starting to die off when I first went in 2011. I think part of the reason for this, other than it being a literal hazard to the health of the person being glomped, is the next change I noticed. And this is a big one. Cosplay is not consent.
Okay, here's where I'm gonna start disagreeing with you on this.
As far as I remember, the cosplay is not consent movement either didn't exist in 2011 when I first started attending, or at the very least, it was still finding its footing.
I disagree. This idea of trying to control others based on their actions, and especially men, based on the threat of them becoming harassers or whatever, this has been going for a long time, even before 2011. Remember Michael Jackson? He was randomly accused of being a P, and people have been having a hard time trying to prove these allegations correct. And he was just being character assassinated for no reason. The same thing has been going on with the cosplay community. You see a lot of these men who, a lot of them are unfortunately like me, who are neurodivergent and they don't have the best social skills. They were not fortunate enough to be born with the capabilities of socializing with people. So it takes them longer to learn how to socialize. Yet, what's going on in the conventions is a lot of these men are being accused of harassment. And I believe that this cosplay is not consent thing has given power to a certain group of people. I'll call them, they are feminists. And this happened in coordination with the Me Too movement. And it has just given these people the power to just randomly accuse men of harassment for no reason. They could just go anonymously. They don't have proof. Well, you could argue that, oh, what about Momo-kun? Well, in the case of Momo-kun, there was hardcore evidence that she did to prove that she actually did what she did. There was a video evidence. That's the difference, because for men, people do not need video evidence to prove that they did something wrong. They could just accuse him and men could just defend themselves. They don't have to believe him.
Whether it's the fact that sometimes cosplay can be a bit revealing, that someone is cosplaying a character that people find easily approachable, or any number of other ridiculous reasons, some people in the convention scene have used these as excuses to just straight up touch cosplayers completely unprompted. I can never forget at one of the first conventions I ever went to. My girlfriend at the time was cosplaying Yoko from Gurren Lagann, and this dude just came up and picked her up.
So apparently you have no footage of what happened. Interesting, I must say.
And he did it like 2 or 3 more times throughout the weekend. She was super uncomfortable with it. All of us were uncomfortable, but we were so shocked. It was one of our first conventions. We didn't really know what to do. None of us really knew what was happening or how to react. And unfortunately, I've seen creepy people do things.
Well, I have a problem with the word creepy. It's now just thrown out around randomly. Like, any guy who doesn't have the best social skills, he just called a creep for no reason. He doesn't have to do what they're being accused of doing. He just has to, like, not follow impossible to reach standards. And that's why I see this word the word creep being thrown around. I've had experiences where I was just hanging out with some random people that were mutuals, and then someone just came up and told me I should not be with them because they apparently one of them was uncomfortable around me. I absolutely did nothing wrong, but yet they were uncomfortable. That's how it is in the community, unfortunately, and I don't like that.
like this to others after that point. I do have a story time about this if you want to hear more. But this is just the tip of the iceberg to how creepy people used to just openly treat cosplayers back in the day. I do think this is still a problem, but over the years, cosplay is not consent has become a super common phrase in the cosplay and convention community. And most every convention nowadays has signs up reminding would-be creeps,
aka men who are socially awkward, men who are not fortunate enough to be born neurotypical, men who are not famous, men who are low status, just all this stuff. It's not about men who actually did what they did. It's just men that people are just uncomfortable for no reason other than the fact that they're men. And I'm tired of pretending it's not that way. I'm tired of pretending it's just a friendly reminder telling people not to do things. It's more than that. It's the way to control men and to oust them from the community.
they will not get away with touching people unprompted. I do personally regret not stopping people from doing this type of thing.
Oh, come on. Please have some self-respect. Do you realize that you could be another target just because you're a man? Do you not realize that? Because any man could be accused of harassment in the community for no reason. All it takes is for a woman to anonymously post online about what you allegedly did, or just accuse you of anything, and they'll believe her, and then you're at risk of one, being ostracized and blacklisted from conventions, and worse, you could lose everything, your job, your money, everything. Some men have ended their lives over this.
When I saw it in the past, it was just such a shock, but it's something I would never let go uncalled out today. More family-friendly conventions and more kids in general. When I first started attending, we would see kids at cons every now and then, but it was always a bit of a rarity.
The reason why it was a bit of rarity, because it was obvious back then that anime is not really the most kid-friendly thing. I mean, especially like if you judge it by like based on what standards of countries like the US have regarding like what should be allowed to be shown to a kid. I mean, some of the things in most anime series, with the exception of little kid series like the Doraemon or the popular anime series that have been really popular right now, most other series they have like suggestive content that might not be the most comfortable for kids in say the US, because anime is not like the same as say Disney or Nick Jr. or Nickelodeon or Cartoon Network stuff.
Years, I've seen more families going together and more kids running around conventions in general. I think this gradual increase has a few sources. First of all, there are just more kids than ever into anime and manga.
Well, since these anime got popular, some of the kids are getting to series like Danganronpa, which, if you ask me, is not entirely like the most kid-friendly anime. There's a lot of blood in it, and there's a lot of like content that's not really like the most appropriate, not the most kid-friendly. But yet a lot of kids are watching it, and it's kind of a mystery why anime conventions are trying to cater to kids as if they're really scared of that thing to begin with, when they themselves are watching content that are not intentionally catered to them.
When I first started going, it was only popular among nerdy kids and had
And those nerdy kids are the ones that are being accused of harassment and that, because anime in general has gone very popular and attracted the normie crowd and the feminist crowd that used to be the ones that were bashing these same nerdy people who were for liking anime. Okay, you know, like the furry community right now, they're the ones that are getting the most hate in regarding like the nerdy people. But anime used to be the one that people would like to bash on. They would bash people for being quote unquote weebs and stuff. Okay, and these same people, ever since anime got popular, ever since the rise of series like such as My Hero Academia and Demon Slayer, ever since it got popular, ever since you could find things on Hot Topic and everything, it's attracted this crowd, and a lot of these people in the crowd are man-hating feminists and just people who just want to control men, because that's what the community used to be made of for the most part. Not like there's no women in it, but that was the backbone of the community back then.
not yet reached mainstream notoriety. Back then, anime conventions were the only reliable place that I could meet like-minded anime fans and buy anime merch. Today,
Yeah, and nowadays it's no longer a place you could find like-minded people. Nowadays it's just a popularity contest, a place for people to compete against another. It's no longer a place for escapism and just making friends and doing things. It's now like the worst things about the real world are now being put into the anime convention scene, and you have all this other things like just people wanting to control others. It's crazy.
all I have to do is walk into a mall and I'm slapped in the face with anime merch and people actually buying it. On top of that, some cons have actually taken advantage of becoming a more family-friendly con, setting stricter
I think, in my opinion, the reason why they want to do this is because they want to kick the men out. It's run by feminists who want to kick men out of their hobbies. They want to blacklist the men. So they just want to make cons more family friendly to intimidate the men and tell them that, you're gonna be surrounded by kids. We don't trust you to be surrounded by kids, because at the end of the day, nowadays, just being surrounded by kids is enough to be called for men to be called a P. Okay, that's what's going on nowadays. Remember what happened to Michael Jackson.
guidelines on how revealing a cosplay can be at their convention. And on top of that, cons have gotten a lot better about separating out 18 plus content into their own panels that are
About the cosplay being revealing, but the thing is, a lot of these there's a lot of characters that have outfits that are revealing to begin with. Cosplayers are just mimicking what the outfit is. You can't just like expect them to change the outfit. I mean, so what? Like, maybe that's the reason why there were not many kids at these conventions, because a lot of these anime are not really intended for the audience, Western children audiences. That's just the way it is.
strictly ID checked before allowing entry. Now we live in a world where you have the option to attend the old style of anime convention that can be a little bit more adult, or a more family-friendly version.
I disagree. There's rarely any conventions that are for older people. The only convention I could think of are the yaoi expos and the hentai conventions, but that's just about it. Every other convention has went the family friendly route. They're trying to water down their content. They're trying to make things more consumerist based. They're trying to cater to this group of people who never really liked the scene to begin with. They're only into it because it's popular. That's what's going on right now.
Both still being great experiences. Everyone wants to be famous. When I first started going,
Okay, I'll just go ahead and just explain why this is. Well, first of all, in the real world, here's how it works, and especially in countries like the US and many other countries. You're basically a nobody, and you don't deserve as much life if you're low status, or you're not famous or rich. That's the way it is, unfortunately, in the real world, and I don't like that, especially if you're a man. And unfortunately, like with cons and anime getting popular, all the stuff that's in the real world is being spilled into the anime convention scene. You have just all this stuff. You have the need for people to become popular. Like you have it, there's no anime convention no longer a shelter from the real world. Ever since these people took over.
Or Japanese guests.
Okay, here's another one. I'll just go ahead and explain myself. The reason why there is more Japanese guests now than there is back then is because cons have gotten more richer ever since anime got more popular. Because the normies and all these other people who were not interested to begin with, they took over because it's now popular, and so the cons get more money and they could be able to afford to bring Japanese guests to these events. And the reason why they were not able to do that back then is because they couldn't afford it. They could only afford to bring guests that were in the US or Canada at the farthest. Because they were not as rich as they were. Did not have the attendance that they have now.
Conventions feel more like professional events and less like small fan events. In 2011,
Well, like I said before, anime has gotten way more popular, and now you got these normies and these feminists who used to shit on the nerds for being who they are, and now they're taking over. And there's more people who are into it now.
you could really feel that cons were by fans for fans. They didn't run perfectly. Maybe the guest list wasn't that great, or the production for main events was lacking. But you forgave these things because you knew it was just a fan-run event meant to.
Well, I wish cons were back the way it was like then. I looked at footage back in the day, and it looks more interesting than I see right now. Nowadays, it's just consumerism. Nowadays, it's just celebrity worship. Because you have these people who, back then, they used to be worshiping the likes of boy bands and Hollywood stars. Now anime's popular, and now they want now they and the most a lot of them want to go in for the celebrities, and some of them want more celebrities, and even celebrities that they're far away. So unfortunately, cons have to raise their prices in order to cater to these people so that they can bring the guests they want.
Bring like-minded people together. When I go to conventions today, most all of these issues are now resolved. Organization is consistently at a high level. Guest lists are much more expansive, and most main events truly feel well put together. Are there still those smaller grassroots?
Well, I argue that there's no more interesting content out there in the panels. There's no panels we're going to. All it is just meeting celebrities. That's it.
Feeling conventions out there? Yeah, of course. But most cons nowadays reach a level of production that I really think leads to a feeling of authenticity as an event that I feel was lacking at cons back in the day. Things just feel good now. I don't find myself needing to make excuses for or forgiving.
Well, I don't think things have changed for the better. Things have changed for the worse. What I see now is just a bunch of consumers and a bunch of feminists and a bunch of celebrity worshippers just going to these events, and basically it's hard to make friends at the event because you're not famous or because you're not at a certain level. That's what's becoming nowadays because these people have taken over these events, and there's also less self-expression. When I started going to these events and cosplaying in 2015, I saw a lot of live-action roleplay. There were people acting in character. There were people I've seen cosplayers who are cosplaying characters with British accent. They were like speaking in British accent while walking by me, and casually. They weren't in a masquerade or in a panel or anything. They were just doing it because they're just trying to have their escapism. Nowadays, with all this cosplay not consent nonsense, people are just discouraged to have fun and just self-express and have the time of their lives. Because there's too many rules, there's too many fear of being canceled, there's too much fear of being ostracized, because this is what the community has done to themselves with all this cosplay not consent. And I know I'm not the only person who thinks this way. I'll show you some other regular con attendees who think similar to me regarding this.
Like celebrity shit. It's not really for like the nerds anymore.
Celebrity petting zoos.
Yeah, they're just
Exactly. Celebrity petting zoos. That's exactly what is wrong with these conventions. People are only there for the celebrities, because at the end of the day, the real world idea that you are worthless if you're not rich and famous has invaded the convention scene. Okay, of course I don't like the real world idea, and of course I definitely do not like how it's taken over the convention scene. Whenever I go to conventions, people don't care about making friends. They only care about being their celebrity. These people are going to these events and they cheer at these celebrities, and that's what it's all about. There's another point they're gonna make that I agree with as well.
Celebrity petting zoos. That's fucking bullshit.
And then like, people just studios promoting their live action adaptation.
Nobody cares.
Yep, studios promoting their live action adaptation because these studios have gotten a lot of money ever since anime got more popular, and obviously studios don't really care about their audience. They just want to promote their live action adaptations or whatever. It's not really about for fans and by fans.
I want to see you suck your own dick. I get on your OnlyFans.
Okay. My name's Kevin.
Hello.
Yeah, I agree. Comic-Con now sucks, and with the BS health restrictions that they're trying to make permanent.
Well, the health restrictions that were an inevitability. Cons have always been going downhill even before this whole 2020 fiasco happened. Ever since I started 2015 and the years passed by, it was becoming less and less a community as the years passed by. There's more like drama. There's more people just finding out how different they are from each other. Just more people trying to pinpoint people's wrong behaviors. There's too many people obsessed with attention. It's no longer a community. It's no longer a place you could make friends or self-express or anything.
It's basically no more than a glorified petting zoo, glorified shopping mall.
I agree again. Glorified shopping mall. You've been taken over by the people with a consumerist attitude. People are just there to buy things and see celebrities. It's exactly like a shopping mall where you have a celebrity or like a musician coming in and they're having a performance and also doing like some autographs, and you have all these mostly women going in to the shopping mall to do their usual shopping and also to meet the celebrity. That's exactly what cons have become, except cons cost more money because it's gone popular. And that's what these people are into now. These people who are into the boy bands are now into all this stuff now that they used to bully these nerdy people. And history is repeating itself. They're just finding a new way to bully them. They basically just randomly accuse them of harassment or anything else, and there they go. They're no longer a part of the convention, and some of them cannot take it anymore, and they just end up ending their lives over it. It's crazy.
Yeah, no, it sucks now. I wish I could go to Comic-Con back in the 90s.
Same here. There's a convention I really want to go back to back in the day, which is Anime Expo 2000. For those who don't know, Anime Expo was once held at the Disneyland Hotel, and it was not as jam-packed and consumerist-based and crowded like it is right now. From the looks of it, it's basically geeks who are going in and just having a good time, and they're being with people who like their same interests. I saw a lot of self-expression. There's a lot of things. It wasn't just what you're seeing right now. It was really different. I recommend you punch in Anime Expo 2000 and you'll see how different it is.
Hey, at least at least I visited Baltimore Comic-Con before they went crazy with Chrono-chan.
I think I saw you at Phoenicia, and you were saying something about Comic Palooza.
Oh yeah.
Was it about security or something?
Oh
or
yeah,
how they ran everything?
Oh my god, no, they're a bunch of fucking dickbags. Okay, basically Comic Palooza in 2014, 2015, one of the best conventions I've ever been to.
I remember going there as a kid. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. The city of Houston bought it in 2016,
what?
and all of a sudden, yeah, Houston First now owns it. That's why it sucks now. All the nightlife's gone. It's only some bullshit pissant 2-day show instead of a 4-day one.
You know the bullshit they.
Yep, that's what's going on. Things are getting more popular, and you're attracting a crowd that's not the same as the crowd that's usually there. And now these events are just they're starting to bend the knee to these people. And now as a result, you get a watered down version of what you're used to doing.
This year and Friday, the stupid fucking ballroom. You don't remember that shit?
No, I would. No,
I was so pissed off. Everybody who bought a Friday pass was so
Dude,
pissed off.
I filed a charge with my bank to dispute because I paid for a 3-day show, not this 1.5 monkey jerk bullshit that's shut down at 7 o'clock at night. It's like, I'm sorry, you gotta go fucking
It
fight.
ended at 7?
Okay, on fucking Saturday, people were prowling here. I'm bored, there's nothing to do. That is what Comic Palooza has turned into. So
That's exactly how I feel about WonderCon 2023. The event was just a glorified shopping mall, and people were only there for celebrities. I tried connecting with people, and people did not want to bother connecting with me. That's what WonderCon is. And also, there's no place if you're not into the trendy stuff.
I know, I bought a 3-day badge. Friday was nothing but badge pickup, and they shut down early on
Friday
Sunday.
sucks.
No, I actually filed a dispute with my bank last night. And I was just like, you know what, fuck it. It's like, I'm not throwing away $100 for them to fuck with me.
Yeah. It's annoying as hell. And especially because, like, now there's less and less vendors that actually, sell comics. There's one vendor who actually sells cheap comics. Everybody else, it's just like, they have 2 boxes. It's like, it's Comic Palooza. Where's the comics?
I agree. I don't care if Comic Cons are usually about pop culture in general. I mean, if you're gonna say Comic Con or comic whatever, you have to have a huge emphasis on comics at least. You have to let people know that this is what you're about.
It's cookie cutter bullshit. Give the city of Houston way too much money because some dumbass little kid wants to go see somebody in spandex. It's like, take him to the fucking ballet and let the rest of us have our fun.
Yep, exactly. I mean, I'm surprised it's someone like her saying it, because usually the people that have taken over these events are these feminist women, and they're the ones that are pushing the narrative that we have to protect the children from these so-called creeps.
I mean, the Houston city government owns Comic Palooza now.
Yeah, Houston first owns Comic Palooza. Comic Palooza sold out after 2015. 2014, 2015 were phenomenal 4-day shows over Memorial Day. 2016, a bunch of us showed up and were like, what the fuck happened?
That's literally my reaction to cons nowadays. Something literally happened. I know something was wrong, and now I'm starting to figure everything out. There's less self-expression, and I swear cons were different back when I started compared to right now. And it was way different before I started.
This year, they decided to pull the most bullshit move. Friday, usually people buy Friday tickets because, one, they're cheap, because they're busy over the weekend, so they buy it thinking, oh, I'm gonna go to the con in the evening. It just lasts longer, lasts a little shorter. No fucking shitty, stupid ass ballroom that everybody hated.
You know what the only thing with going to Comic Palooza for? The guys running werewolf in hotel lobbies.
Because that's the only thing you can do at night.
Yeah, no, seriously. I actually got on Comic Palooza's page and they deleted my post. I said, you guys should take the badge money and split it between the people hosting room parties and the guys hosting werewolf, because they did all your programming.
Those people legit, they carry the original spirit of conventions.
Exactly. The people who are now running these conventions don't even care anymore. And they're trying to kick the people who have been long-time patrons to these conventions for a long time.
And Comic Palooza Live, those guys, I love them. They're so down to earth. They're fun. They welcome everybody, and they actually.
I don't even feel welcome at events anymore, just because I'm a guy and I'm obviously not famous enough. That's what events have become. They've been overtaken by people who do not like us because we're guys and we have hobbies. And now they're just trying to kick us out, intimidate us so that we don't go anymore. Just make us unwelcome. That's what these people who have been in charge of these conventions nowadays are doing.
Fantastic, I love that.
Stay awake.
Because they're not pussies. And what I don't understand is why the fuck am I an anime motherfucking monster on a Friday night and people are going home to change their Depends and take their dentures out at fucking midnight on a Friday? That is some bullshit.
No, I'm mad that they stopped karaoke because of Nerdless.
There's a club.
I mean, what's Nerdless anyway?
You game? There's a club at
Game for what?
Exactly. Anime cons are usually unique because they tend to last longer in the day. The only comic conventions that are known to last longer in the day are I think Dragon Con or some other conventions, but usually anime cons are ones that last longer, and now I'm worried that's no longer gonna be that way.
Game. No.
Do I
Is
game?
it Club Siberian?
Or do I game?
Club,
Old
yeah,
school,
club,
yes.
club.
You know what that reference is?
Anything
Wait.
online, like.
No, it's lame.
Tell your friends.
But if you carry on this way,
I was just trying to tell you stay safe. Yeah, because you're having full on
Safe is boring. Fuck safe. All I've had the past 2 years is stay safe, stay safe.
Right.
Fuck safe.
Yeah.
Fuck.
I agree. Cons are just too all about safety. There's no longer self-expression. And the real culprit is the feminists that are controlling it. These are the people that don't like men. They don't like the attendees. These are the people that are the ones behind all this cosplay is not consent nonsense. They're behind all this stuff that's designed to control men's behavior, like Me Too and all this other things.
His balls kicked in.
All right, let's go to the third floor.
He's a terrible person.
Yeah.
You seem like you would know all about that. Like,
Being a terrible person, yes.
See this badge right? Oh, well, he's filming. I don't want to say that on camera.
Oh no, you didn't say that.
No. This badge. Let's just say that I did.
What did you do?
I got it.
What filthy Christian, what like filthy
I know,
unchristian acts did you do to like get that badge?
No, I just found it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. No, that's
I just do not want to give money directly to Missouri to the organizers because it goes to him and I don't like it.
honestly.
I will give money to the artists. I will give money to the dealers. I will give money to people holding panels, but I will not give money to the people organizing the event. To him and people who apologize for him.
This is the only convention that I enjoy going to because
And
the only one
sucks.
you're allowed to have fun here.
And it
This is the
sucks
o-
because of the guys at Dickhead.
Exactly. And I find it interesting that the person behind the Anime Matsuri organizer, he's being accused of random things, and ironically, it's the convention that people tend to have more fun at.
You know?
Well, okay, but I have more fun here than I have at cookie-cutter current palooza. Everybody goes home at 7 p.m. You know what? The deal is I can handle a sexual harasser. I can't handle a party pooper.
Yeah.
You know what? Like, no, seriously, the
I
last
know. It's just that one is like criminal, you know, and it just fucked up that he just gets away with it. You know?
It's fucked up, but quite frankly, I think what Houston did at Comic Palooza is way more criminal than anything John's ever done.
Oh yeah.
I mean, seriously, have any of these allegations went to court?
Not to
Well, I highly doubt accusations are true, because the thing is, like, nowadays you don't even know what's true or not. Like, people just randomly accuse men of anything. Though I do notice that they don't seem to follow up about it. They just do it just for attention or just to take other men down because they don't like men. Sometimes they don't really need court to go all the way there. They just need to demoralize them and just make them feel unwelcome, because that tends to be enough. And if that's not enough, they'll go to court because they know they have the advantage.
Have physical evidence, but when like more than like 10 people accuse you, it doesn't look too good.
Okay, have they filed police reports?
I don't know. I'm pretty sure they did. I have to look that up. The thing is that these allegations have been going on for years, as in he's been repeat.
Oh, I completely, like, I'd be willing to believe that he's a dirtbag, but the bottom line is, he's a dirtbag who throws a good party.
Or maybe he's one of those people who actually cares about the attendees.
Dirtbags usually, that's what they do.
That's the problem. That's why you always gotta be looking out, and you keep an eye on yourself, you keep an eye on your friends. If you see some shit, you say some shit. But quite frankly, if I had to like either get rid of Comic Palooza or get rid of this, Comic Palooza would be on the chopping block like that. It brings nothing to the city of Houston and actively destroyed what was fixing to be a convention that could have rivaled Dragon Con given another decade. It's like there's no excuse.
Yeah, John Lay, he's been accused of sexual harassment since 2015, so he does not have a good track.
During the Me Too era, he actually apologized. He told the party he went to for a sexual harassment prevention course. Yet people still accuse him. Ever since, as soon as he apologized, lots of people smell blood in the water.
I don't care if they accuse.
Exactly. The thing is, if you're accused as a man, then you could try to defend yourself all you want, and you could try to like prove that you didn't do it. You could do all these things. You could prove you're a good person. No one's gonna change your opinion, because at the end of the day, they don't like you because you're a man.
The fucking Kennedy assassination, as long as he puts on a good party.
I need a water bottle. And that That's broke.
No, I'm just saying. I'm not saying the guy. I'm not saying he's a good guy. I'm just saying
The guy's not a saint.
No, no. You know what?
And the thing is that they're probably right.
They may well.
Nobody gets accused that many times. I'm just saying.
Well, where there's smoke, there's usually a fire. That being said, there's also a fucking lit ass con. So you know what? It's one of those like.
Exactly. I personally, all I care about is just have a good time in the convention. I don't want like watered down stuff. I don't want it to be just the way it is right now. I want like to actually be feeling a community now, especially during this time where people are just feeling, especially men, are being disconnected. They need a place to connect.
Would not recommend anybody be a vendor or a guest here, but as far as just being just like a plain vanilla attendee,
Yeah, no, you're gonna
far
be a great
and
time.
away, this is the best. This is the best
But
convention.
it's not a good look.
And since every convention in the United States has gone super crunch and look, especially my DC anime cons such as OCon and CastleCon, for all intents and purposes, this is the best normal convention since 2021.
This is the only convention where you're allowed to fucking have any fun. Everything else is like, oh, that might offend somebody. Oh, there's rules. Oh, we're gonna shut down before the sun goes down because people have kids. It's like, so put them out the fucking window. They're
Go
still
to
like,
the zoo.
yeah,
Yep, exactly my point again.
exactly. And drop your kids in like, you know, drop the kids in the exhibit and then come back. Fuck them.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm
The
being
museum
mean.
exists for a reason.
No, the way I see it, just like if you've got
Oh yeah,
kids,
no. Also, like Palooza, there's no adult panels.
There used to be.
When? What year?
2014, 2015.
I didn't go to them because I was a kid.
No,
but
dude, it was 2014, 2015. It was 4 days. It was Memorial Day weekend. They had
full con. 4 days full con.
It was 4 days full con, and they would have like Thursday, like basically Friday night and Saturday night was fucking lit. Like I'm talking, like they didn't just have the nerdless; they had like actual dances, not this douchey formal shit, not some bullshit rave. No,
the raves are cool. I like raves.
I hate EDM.
The rest of this video is they're just talking about if EDM is a good genre or not, but I hope you guys get the idea that obviously I'm unhappy that with the way conventions are going. I'm happy with who's been running these conventions. I'm unhappy with how the culture's dramatically changed. As someone who's like into men's rights and all that, I recognize that like men have it worse in terms of like loneliness, and cons were like one of those places where they could connect with one another and like at least have a chance to connect with one another, and now it's being taken away from them because of the people who are now in charge of it. So that concludes this video, and see ya.